Happy New Year, best wishes. 2025 is going to start with a bang, as you will see thanks to this week's gaming news, and we'll of course also look ahead at what we can expect in the next few days. A ton to go over, so sit back and let's go. We are bringing one of the sagas from 2024 into the new year. It's of course still wild that the biggest game of 2024 is not on Xbox, after the biggest game from 2023, Baldur's Gate 3, also took longer to come to that platform. And there has been a big back and forth behind the reason. So in August, around the release of Black Myth: Wukong, IGN said that it was because of a Sony exclusivity deal, not technical issues. Forbes confirmed that as well, while other people like Extras said there was no secret exclusivity deal with Sony, and Jeff Grubb said the exact same thing. But then Microsoft said that we can't comment on the deals made by our partners with other platform holders, implying there was a deal. So yeah, it's kind of a mess. Well, now, a few days ago, we got the director on the game, who must know, right, saying the following: "Everyone's fighting power is so terrifying, but the only thing missing is the Xbox rope." It seems a bit wrong, but that 10 gig shared memory without a few years of optimization experience, it really can't be taken down. And then he's talking about the 10 gigs of RAM on the Series S, while the Series X has 16. They just cannot make it work on that lower priced machine. And the sad reality of course is that then people who bought the more expensive Xbox Series X also cannot play Black Myth: Wukong, because Microsoft requires developers to make the game work on both the Series S and the X. And yeah, the Series S was also the reason why Baldur's Gate 3 was delayed on Xbox, and you would think as we get further into the generation that more games might struggle, especially from independent teams that don't have the support of a major publisher. Now, Phil Spencer was asked regarding Black Myth for Xbox 2 months ago, and he said that he knew if the game was coming, but that he basically could not say anything else. Likely because the developers don't know either. High chance that the DLC that has been confirmed, that will likely be out in 2025, will launch before the game comes to Xbox. I totally think it will come. Like, I do think they will figure it out at some point, and hopefully Microsoft is lending a hand. But yeah, at one point, if more of these stories come out, you might be like, okay, was the Series S a smart decision? I at least feel bad for the people that only have a Series X and now cannot play games that would work on that platform because of the Series S. Let's at least hope that we don't have a Series S kind of console again during the next generation, and your take is of course more than welcome in the comments down below. January in previous years already meant some exciting game announcements and reveals, and for 2025 we already have rumors that the Developer Direct is back on the Xbox side, which could even include an Oblivion remaster. But yeah, last year Sony also had a State of Play in January with the big Death Stranding 2 blowout, and also the confirmation that Kojima will be working with PlayStation on a new action espionage game. Well, now we got a not so great update on it, and this also applies to Kojima's Xbox horror game OD. So Death Stranding 2 is basically in the polishing state. We know that that game should be out this year, probably in the first half, or like August at the latest, if I had to guess. While these other two projects suffer delays due to the SAG-AFTRA strike that started in July and is about reaching an agreement regarding AI use. So for OD, this meant that they had to stop scanning and filming in the second half of the year, which to me sounds like that game is still relatively early, and they wanted to start casting for that new action-adventure PlayStation game, but that also had to stop because of the strike. Like, that game was always going to be a PlayStation 6 title, I think, but now I would be surprised if it makes it out before 2030. But yeah, first up, Death Stranding 2. Let me know if you are, by the way, interested in that game in the comments down below. I'm still of two minds. On one hand, the trailers do look cool, but then I also remember the amount of errands we had to do in the first game. It was just too slow for me, so I'll just wait and see. It also depends on the other games that are coming out around Death Stranding 2. Now let's look at a lot of other gaming news. There's a ton to go over. A like, of course, would really help me out if you enjoy these videos. And subscribe, because also in 2025, we will be posting one of these every Sunday. Yes, now many quick shots, news stories I will go over quickly, starting with a game that I'm pretty curious about, Eternal Strands. You've heard me talk about it before. It's from ex-Ubisoft Quebec people who worked on Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Syndicate, and also Mike Laidlaw, one of the key figures on the first 3 Dragon Age games, is directing this. Well, we now learned that they are doing a demo on PC 1 week before launch on January 21st. They say the demo is Steam only at the moment, so it might come to console, but then likely after launch if I had to guess. It is on Game Pass, by the way, day 1, so you can also check it out there. I really hope it turns out well. Would be fun to play before the crazy February heavy hitters release. Let me know, of course, if Eternal Strands looks appealing to you in the comments. And speaking of those February heavy hitters, one of them is, of course, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. And now we got a PR manager saying that they're already sending out review codes in the next few days. Yes, 4 weeks ahead of release. And that's really unheard of in this day and age. Usually review codes get sent out 1 week if you are lucky. This usually means that developers are confident in the title, but also that reviewers now have the time to really get lost in the world, maybe play all the content if they want, and not rush to meet a deadline. And in this case, it's smart as well, so they are out in front of like other big February titles, so everyone still has time to play Kingdom Come, share the review, make content on it, and then move on to Avowed or Assassin's Creed Shadows, for example. You can, by the way, already expect some first impressions on the game next week, which would be this coming week, so in the next few days. Maybe on the channel here as well, so keep it locked. Another big 2025 game is of course Borderlands 4, and while the Gearbox CEO would not call the game open world, it is the most open and free game Gearbox has ever made. Basically, it will have way more big open spaces with things we can likely do in the order we want, and hopefully some more secret locations we can find as well. But it won't be as fast as an open world game. It is seamless, it is expansive, it is larger than anything we've ever done, and it is filled like nothing we've ever done. So maybe more like activities as well, which would be cool, while the previous maps were kinda linear, even though you could of course go left or right in a way. We should get a proper gameplay reveal for Borderlands 4 in early 2025. So while Helldivers 2 will obviously be supported for a long time to come, the director on the game says he's already planning Arrowhead's next game and is also asking people on X about it. Most of them just want more Helldivers or something similar. Some want Magica back, which is the previous game they did. I personally think that they should just keep focusing on pure like fun PvE co-op games, because that's clearly what they're good at. And it's kind of wild to me still that Sony has not been able to buy them and make them a proper PlayStation studio. I'm sure they want to, but something is holding them back. They are probably first in line though to fund this next game. The director is saying that he's working on a high concept, so it's going to be a while before we even see it. But yeah, it won't be Helldivers 3, as they're basically growing Helldivers 2 into Helldivers 3. I'm curious if they can maintain the success in 2025. Every week I look at the latest leaks and rumors of the week, and then I give 3 to 1 star, with 3 stars being I totally think that this will happen, and 1 star being we should take this with a large grain of salt. It's a short one, but last week I told you about Herman Hulst. He said that he's open to reviving classic franchises from Sony. And well, now we have Andy Robinson, the boss of Video Game Chronicle, that has his sources say that he heard that Sony is already working on at least a couple of dormant smaller IPs, and these would then be smaller titles, as he notes in his podcast. Like, I would be down for Sony experimenting more with like $20 games to still bring some of these IPs back, instead of them having to be like a full Astrobot type experience. And I'm curious if this applies to things like Sly Cooper and Jak and Daxter, or if they're more talking about really small franchises like an Ape Escape, for example. I will of course keep you posted here, but yeah, 3 stars for this. I totally think it will happen. This coming week you can play Suicide Squad for free on PlayStation 5 if you have a PS Plus membership. I always said that if you get this opportunity, at least give the campaign a shot. I namely had a pretty good time with it, so I totally recommend that you check it out if it ever looked like appealing to you, but you never wanted to spend money on it. In Marvel news, Marvel Rivals is dropping the trailer for the first season, and I think they're dropping the first season also this coming week, and we're seemingly getting all 4 Fantastic Four characters. CES is also this coming week, the big tech convention in Las Vegas, and usually there's not a lot of gaming stuff, but Sony always has their press conference where they will bring up PlayStation and sometimes have some interesting news. I will of course have the most important stuff in the Sunday video next week or on my React channel if it's worth discussing. Speaking of which, I will also do my weekly news show of course there on that channel. Link to that stream with the countdown in the video description, where we go in depth on a lot of the news discussed in this video, but also other stuff. Like I will share my general gaming 2025 predictions during that stream, for example. Also link to the weekly Assassin's Creed Shadows show I do with Fragnard. We will be back every Wednesday. Link to that also in the description. And some big Assassin's Creed Shadows content dropping on both the main channel and on that Assassin's Raptor channel. Another big 2025 preview video will also be up on the main channel. So a lot to look forward to. Subscribe to not miss anything. A like would be awesome. And check out my recent Assassin's Creed Shadows video about big returning features coming to the game by clicking on the screen. I will speak to you soon. Goodbye.